Hello and welcome to theory course of 6th semester GIS and Remote Sensing KOE 066. In this course, we will be going to study about the various importance concepts of GIS and remote sensing. So this lecture is all about introduction to the course, and here we will be discussing about introductory portions of GIS and remote sensing concepts. The contents for this discussion will be introduction about the course, introduction to GIS, and introduction to remote sensing. So if we go as per the syllabus that has been mentioned as per the university, so we can see that whole of the course is divided into 5 units, and first unit is all about remote sensing. So it enables us to have a discussion on remote sensing, and which various topics such as what are the basic concepts of remote sensing, what are the advantages and limitations of remote sensing, possible use, or we can say that applications of remote sensing techniques in various landforms, and what is the role of electromagnetic energies, electromagnetic spectrum, what are the different types of atmospheric windows that are available, and what is spectral reflectance curve for vegetation, soil and water, and spectral signatures. So we can say that in unit 1 we will be going to discuss the various concepts of remote sensing, that what is actually remote sensing technique and what are the various applications in which remote sensing can be employed. Coming to unit 2, we can see that here it is mentioned different type of sensors and platforms, contrast ratio, and possible causes of low contrast. So basically, this portion is somewhat related to digital image processing. So those data which have been obtained after performing remote sensing, those data needs to be improved, those data needs to be improvised, and that improvement can be done by some software oriented process, or we can say that image enhancement tools. So that type of content we have to cover in unit 2, and in addition to it, we have to study what is aerial photography. So how to perform aerial photography, what is aerial photography, and what are the different types of aerial photographs obtained after performing aerial photography, and how to calculate the scale of those photographs. So let's say if we are performing aerial photography and we are capturing, let's say, vertical photographs, so how to calculate the scale of those photographs so that we can have an idea of converting the image observations to ground observations. Then how to plan or how to execute that flight planning. So we have to study about the flight planning. We have to study the various type of labs which are provided, like hand lab or side lab. Then after covering the concepts of aerial photography, we have to see the another important concept which is involved in photographic or aerial photography, that is stereoscopy. So we have to see what is a stereoscopy, what is stereoscopic vision, and what are the requirements of stereoscopic photographs, and how can we interpret air photos. So what are those different elements. So if we can say that what we have to study in unit 2, so our unit 2 will be more focused through some enhancement techniques. So we'll be studying some enhancement techniques in unit 2, as well as we will be learning the various concepts and the various process that are involved in flight planning for performing aerial photography. While coming to unit 3, so we are now more concerned about taking observations with the help of photographs. So in unit 2, we were more concerned about taking photographs, but in unit 3, we are more concerned about noting observations or obtaining some interpretation or results from those aerial photographs. So here in unit 3, we will be morely discussing about concepts of photogrammetry, that how to take observations from a photograph, how to measure stereo pair, what are the different vertical measurements that can be taken with the help of parallax method, how to establish ground control points. And then after covering the concepts of photogrammetry, we will be then discussing and moving on to sensors. So now we will be having some discussion on sensors, that what are the different type of sensors, then what is the application of sensors, what are the different resolutions of sensor, and how to analyze that digital data which has been obtained through sensors. So again, we will be having a discussion on some improvement, or we can say that some enhancement techniques, so like image restoration, image enhancement, information extraction. So all those we can say enhancement type or digital image processing techniques will be done. So in unit 3 we will be dealing with photogrammetry as well as with some operations of important operations of digital image processing. In unit 4 we can say that there is some new concept that is new to us, that is microwave remote sensing. So in unit 4 we will be going to study microwave remote sensing. So basically we have learned what is remote sensing in unit 1. Now how to perform remote sensing in microwave region, that we will be studying in unit 4. So in unit 4 we will be mainly dealing with microwave remote sensing and some basic components of GIS and different sources of spatial data, spatial entities. So all those concepts that are related to microwave remote sensing and remote sensing techniques on different types of map projections, their properties, that will be studied in unit 4. When we come to unit 5, this unit 5 is totally on geographic information system. So in this unit 5 we will be dealing with various concepts and methods of GIS, how to obtain some data or how to obtain some information with the help of some GIS systems, and how to create one GIS system, how to add it, or how to we can say that how to improvise some GIS data. So that all application portions of GIS as well as remote sensing, that we will be studying in unit 5. So all throughout we can again summarize that in unit 1 we will be dealing with the various concepts of remote sensing. In unit 2 we will be dealing with some minor techniques of image processing as well as majorly aerial photography. In unit 3 we will be covering the concepts of photogrammetry as well as some important operations involved in digital image processing. In unit 4 we will be dealing with remote sensing, but especially for microwave region, that how to perform remote sensing in microwave region. In unit 5 we will be again coming into discussion with GIS, what is a GIS system and how to obtain some useful information with the help of GIS systems. Now let's have some introduction about GIS. So what does GIS actually mean? So GIS is basically, it stands basically for Geographic Information System. So if we just have a look over these words, we can say that it is Geographic Information System. So we can have an idea by just looking into this acronym, like what is information. Okay, the system is talking about some kind of information, and that information is about, we can say that information is about geography. Okay, and that information which is about geography and that is being stored in a system and analyzed through a system, so this complete process is called as a GIS system. So what we do in GIS, we basically obtain or gain or collect or store some information that is related to some geography, and that has been stored and analyzed by the help of a system. So this kind of operation is called as a GIS based system, okay, or GIS technique. This whole process is called as GIS. So a GIS integrates hardware, software, and data for capturing, managing, analyzing, and displaying all forms of geographically referenced information. So what does we basically do in GIS? So we are employing, or we are using hardwares, we are using softwares, then we are using different kinds of data that has been downloaded or gathered from some particular place, and those particular geographically referenced data is, it has been captured, it is being managed, it is being analyzed, and finally after performing some operations it has been displayed. So that mainly the data is of geography, so that is geographically referenced information. So this is the process, and these are the various steps, or we can say components that are involved in a complete GIS process. So if we just see one, we can see, if we see the roadmap for completing a GIS based operation, then first of all we need to capture. So what do we need to capture? So basically we need to capture some information, and which kind of information? So mainly that information that is related to geography. Then we need to manage that information. So we need to manage and store that information, and then we will analyze that information. So obviously we will be using some especially enabled softwares that are mainly concerned about analysis of GIS based data. Okay, and then finally after the analysis is performed with special interest to our observation or what kind of information do we want from the data, then the results will be displayed accordingly. So this is a general process how a GIS system is completed. So what are the various steps involved in a GIS system? So we are basically capturing the data, and we are managing the data, we are analyzing the data with the help of some softwares, and then finally we are displaying the desired results. So what do? We basically collect the information about geography, and that geographical information is georeferenced, means it is having some coordinates, it is having some positions, it is having its longitude, latitudes. Okay, so this type of information or data has been stored in it, and that type of information is processed or analyzed by a system. So this kind of process is called as a GIS based system. So we will be discussing this GIS system in detail while coming to Unit 5. So if we just want to have some idea about that, what is GIS based system will look like, or what are the results that will look like. So we can have some idea through its representation, that how to represent data in GIS. So we can see in this photograph, we can see that there is one bottom image that is of real world. So you are converting or you are modeling this real world into a virtual type of data. So how you will do it? You will have different type of layers. Like we can say that here in one layer I am just showing the land usage, that how the land is being used. In the another layer I am just showing the elevation, that what are the elevation of different points on that real world, that area which you are under observation. Then in the another layer you can see how that area is distributed, what are the different land use patterns on that area. Then in another layer you can have some navigation maps, or you can show some roads. Okay, so and another you can have some another more layers, so show who are the different users on it, or who are the individuals on it. So we can actually model this type of real world into some digital representation. So that is basically some operations involved in creating a GIS renewable systems. Okay, so GIS data, we talk about GIS data, so it represents real world objects. Okay, like roads, land use, elevation, trees, and waterways. So basically what is happening in real world, you are just trying to convert those real world data into some another representation, into digital representation, that will give you information about that real world. You are creating some digital model of the real world data. Okay, or of a real world geography. So if we just want to show the data, that then we have two broad methods of showing or employing data in GIS, that is vector data model approach and raster data model approach. So what are these vector data model approaches, raster data model approaches? We will be discussing these type of approaches and data forms in detail while we will be discussing Unit 5, that is wholly dependent upon GIS. So moving on, we are now having some basic or introductory discussion on remote sensing. So basically, what does remote sensing means? We will be following the same principle. We will just again look on the name of the technique. So here it is written as remote sensing. So it is composed of two words. So first word is remote and second is sensing. So in this again, what does remote means? It means that you are at a far location from some point. And what does sensing means? Sensing means to obtain or to acquire or to sense some type of information. So basically, what are we doing in remote sensing? We are obtaining information about a particular geography or a particular place or a particular operation, but we are not personally going in there, and we are not physically obtaining that data. So we are at some distance or remote location, and we are let's say we are in our office, and we are just trying to obtain some data of a far place, of a place that is located at a distance. So such type of operations in which you need not to go physically, you need not to visit the site physically, but still you can have the information about that place. So these type of operations or this type of technique is called as remote sensing. So if we also go as per the definition, so what does the definition says? So it says that remote sensing is an art and science of obtaining information. So obviously, what does it say? It says that using some principles of arts and science, we are obtaining some information. So our objective is clear. We have to obtain some information, but how to do it? So we are not capturing those detail by coming into physical contact. So what does definition says? So remote sensing is an art and science of obtaining information about an object or feature. So it can be an object, it can be a feature, it can be anything, without physically coming into contact with that object or feature. So we are not making a physical contact, still we are able to record some information or some data about that particular object. This type of technique is called as remote sensing. So let's just take an example. Like I am able to see objects around me just because of my eyes, but I am not physically touching them. Still I can have some image type of forms in my mind. I can visualize its shape, I can visualize its size. So it is a type of technique in which I'm not in the physical contact with the object, still I'm able to obtain some information out of it. Similarly, in remote sensing also, we are not physically going to that place, or we can say that we are not maintaining some physical contact with that concerned area, but still we are able to obtain that information. So in this technique, this is called as remote sensing. So here in the right side, you can see there is one figure that shows how a remote sensing operation is performed. So you can see that there are some satellites involved. There is some radiation, or we can say reflection techniques involved. There is one energy source, that is sun. There are some objects from which those electromagnetic radiations are getting interacted and are finally getting, we can say that, deflected towards some satellites on which sensors are mounted. So this is the whole process in which different components are having their different roles. So we will be discussing these roles of these techniques, role of these objects later on in detail. So basically what is done in remote sensing, we are basically gathering some information without coming into physical contact. So you can see here is in this diagram also, you can see that there is one satellite and that is able to cover some vast areas on earth, and we can capture those details in various type of, we can say that, electromagnetic bands or spectral bands. Here this image symbolizes the use of different colors, which shows that a particular area can be captured in different bands. So we are employing the use of some highly advanced techniques. So we are using some satellite scientific methods. So we will be discussing what are the different, uh, we can say that, different elements of remote sensing and later on lectures. So what are some applications areas? So we can help, the technique of remote sensing can help to estimate the amount of flood, or we can say that how much extent, till how much extent one area is getting flooded. This type of data can be obtained. Then what are the post earthquake effects, or we can say what are the post disaster effects that has been occurred after an earthquake? How much damage has been done? What is the pattern of the damage? That kind of condition, that kind of observations can be recorded. Then what is the, we can say that, information that is related to weather. So weather monitoring can be done. So what is the weather of a place, how the climate and all those things are changing, that can be dynamically monitored with the help of remote sensing. Then again, remote sensing finds its application in a variety of areas, in a vast area. So some of them are like crop yielding. So how much crop is going to yield? Is the state of crop is healthy or not? Is it stressed or not? So such kind of information can be obtained. Tsunamis, that where are the waves getting troubling the shores? Such type of information. Forest fires are sufficient. We can say that we can find out some region from a forest that is more susceptible to fire. So such type of applications can be performed with the help of remote sensing. Regional planning is done with the help of remote sensing. Then surveying, so in inaccessible areas, so where we cannot go physically, where physical movement is not possible, still we can obtain some information about that. Then flood and drought warning, so early warning systems can be developed with the help of remote sensing techniques. So these are the various applications in which remote sensing can be employed. So in this lecture, we have seen that what is the course content for this course, and what is the concept of GIS and introduction to remote sensing. Thank you.